how can we collect and interpret data? So we need information. That's the point. As economists, you need to we said for economists, they allocate resources. That is the point. That is why we are studying economics. So if we have to allocate resources, we need information so that we'll be able to give the right people the right quantity of resources needed. That means give the right people the right thing. So to do this, you might need information. That is where collection of data comes in. So these are the steps in collecting data. The first one is you collect the data. How do you collect them? You use different sources you can to gather this information. Maybe survey, questionnaire, interview, whatever it is. You just have to gather this information. As soon as you are able to gather those information, the next thing is you organize them. How do you organize? You have to organize because this information you are gathering, in the course of gathering them, you don't have time to sort them. So sorting them is when you organize them to maybe by age, by time, by month, by gender, whatever the case might be. This information has to be, they cannot be the same. So you start finding similarities between them, differences between them. That is when you are trying to organize the data. You get the second stage here. The third stage is when you present them. How do you present? You present maybe with a tabular form, you present with a bar chart. You have to represent them in picture, on image. You have to represent those information. That is when you have a bar chart, a pie chart, pictogram, histogram, and the rest. So this is what information you've gathered. You've tried to find the similarities. Now you represent them in a picture form. I think present the data is clear. The next stage is analyzing. How do you analyze the information? You need to know, A, what is A? What does A stands for? What does B stands for? What does C stands for? We are still talking about quantitative here. Then the next stage is about the interpretation of the data. This is where you have to understand the difference between qualitative and quantitative. For quantitative, there's no problems about quantitative because all interpretation about quantitative are the same. 100 is 100, 200 is 200, 1 centimeter is 1 centimeter. But when it comes to qualitative, it's about opinion, attitude of people. So here, we're going to have different interpretation. So during interpretation, we have to understand what we are interpreting. Are we interpreting based on qualitative or based on quantitative? If it's quantitative, it's fine because everything we talked about will be the same because they are figures and numbers. But when it comes to qualitative, your opinion will be different from my opinion, mine will be different from yours. Do you get it? So this is all about data collection. Is it clear? The first stage is you get this data info together, you organize them, you analyze them, you present them, and you interpret. Any question about them? No? Good.